G'day Bodgies and Widgies and welcome back to the channel. Now over the years I've done quite a number of aquarium product reviews, which includes things like filtration, lighting, heating, but one aspect we haven't actually had a look at is the automatic fish feeder game. Recently I was sent the Hygger Intelligent Visual Fish Feeder, which is probably one of the most advanced but also most expensive automatic fish feeders currently on the market. The Hygger team sent me this so I can test it out and review. However, there is absolutely no paid promotion in this video, nor am I forced to say anything positive about this product. So I've been using it for about a month, just over at this point, and I'll take you through everything that I find about this product and why it may or may not be for you. So make sure you stay tuned. I really hope you enjoy this one. So the concept of also don't mind Jericho, who's my new pet duck. You'll see him in all of the future videos. However, the concept of automatic fish feeders is nothing new to the aquarium hobby. They've been around for quite a fair while. And it's gotten to a point now where you can get auto fish feeders for as cheap as $10 to $15 online. Obviously they're not branded, but they serve the purpose of having a chamber or a bin where you can store food. You can then set up localized controls, a schedule, all of those sorts of things, and I'm sure you can piece together the rest. The Hygger Intelligent Fish Feeder though is around about $200 to $300 in Australia, which might be enough for you to click off this video. However, let me talk to you about some of the features that it actually has, what sets it apart from the cheaper automatic fish feeders, and also what your specific use case for a product like this would be before you come to a bit more of an educated opinion. So right out of the box, the Hygger Visual Intelligent Fish Feeder has pretty much everything that you would need to get the product going up and running. And in terms of actually setting it up for something that has app and Wi-Fi connectivity, all of that sort of stuff, it is super simple, to the point where little Jericho and I actually managed to get the product set up and connected to the app and Wi-Fi in just a couple of minutes. But in terms of the way that the actual product is designed, it's very well thought out. And it's a lot of those standard features that an automatic fish feeder has, but they've been leveled up quite a fair bit. One of those examples would come down to the feed chamber. The feed chamber actually holds a pretty decent amount of food, but also inside the feed chamber itself, there's almost a food processor type plastic blade that spins around every time food is being dispensed. And this will make sure that the food is actually staying nice and loose inside the chamber, which is quite important because in a high moisture environment like an aquarium tends to be, with humidity and water splashes and all of those sorts of things, it can mean that the food starts to absorb moisture and start clumping up. And also if you're using things like freeze-dried tubifex worms or a low moisture pellet like I tend to use, that will naturally start clumping regardless of what you do. So making sure that the food is actually mixed up and loose in the fish feeder ensures that it's being dispensed smoothly. You can also choose between a large dispenser and a small dispenser for smaller types of food as well for a bit more versatility. And along with that, inside the chamber, there's also a section where you can put in a little silica or desiccant gel packet, which just ensures extra dryness. The actual base that the electronic components of the fish feeder sit on can be interchanged. There's a both flat and also a screw-on type base as well, which you can use for both those rimmed and rimless tanks depending on what you have. And all of those things are included in the box, which means that you've got quite a fair bit of versatility regardless of which kind of aquarium that you have. So everything mentioned thus far is pretty standard in a high quality automatic fish feeder, of which are offered by a couple of other brands in the aquarium market. However, there are two features that this product offers which will potentially justify the prospect of buying it, but will also justify the price that it goes for. The first of which is app and Wi-Fi connectivity, the second of which is the built-in camera. Now both of these features kind of work hand in hand, because on the app you can set up pretty complex feeding cycles. If you're conditioning your fish to spawn and you want to make sure they're being fed multiple times a day, you can do that. If you just want to make sure your fish are getting enough food so they don't foul up the water whilst you're gone, you can also do that with feedings once every second day or third day, however that might be. I have my tank set to 3 feedings a day just because I like watching my fish feed. You can also request for a feeding on the spot on the app as well. And you can also do that manually on the actual feeder, which I like. I like the fact that there is a feed button built in. So if you're just walking past the tank, you want to see the fish eat, press that button, food goes in. But you can also do that on the app regardless of where you are in the world, as long as you've got Wi-Fi. Which also tees into the second really cool feature that this product offers, and that is a built-in camera. You might ask, why is a camera being included in an automatic fish feeder? But it's quite important when you think about it, because you trust your automatic fish feeder to feed your fish when you're gone, but you don't actually have a visual representation of that. And whilst this fish feeder actually does provide you with a data log of every single time your fish are being fed, so you actually have a visual representation, the camera offers you probably the best kind of visual representation that you're going to get. When you know your feeding's about to happen and you've got Wi-Fi connectivity, you can jump on the app, watch the food go into the tank and your fish eat. You can also check them any time of the day and see how your fish are doing. You can also check them at night and use the infrared ability that the camera has. So there's lots of additional benefits to there being a camera that comes with this fish feeder as well. The benefit is you can also mount that camera wherever the heck you wanted, as long as you've got range in the cable. Now, its intended purpose is to be mounted on the side of the aquarium, so you've got vision all the way down. But if you wanted, you could be kind of strategic with it and mount it above the tank, mount it in your fish room so you can see the entire fish room. You can do quite a few really cool things with it. Now, the whole point of this video isn't to try and convince you to spend $300 on an automatic fish feeder. It's to try and highlight the pros and the cons so you can make that educated choice yourself. We've had a look at the pros, but let's quickly touch on some of the cons. The first of which is a bit of a design thing. The way that the flat base and the camera actually mount to the aquarium is through an adhesive film. And every single time you remove that adhesive film or you try and reposition the fish feeder or the camera, that film is going to get weaker and weaker. It would have been good to have some level of magnetic attachment. There are so many different products at a much lower price range that offer magnets to mount the actual product to the aquarium. Fish feeders do this, wave makers do this, and it would have been, I feel like, a pretty simple addition to the aquarium. Obviously, that would have then affected the level of thickness or glass thickness that you could mount the product to and all of those sorts of things, so I see why they went with the adhesive, but I'm not sure whether you can necessarily buy like replacement adhesive strips if they get weak, that sort of stuff. So it may have been good to offer a couple of alternatives in that range. The other thing is a bit more of a personal thing. I just found that the power cable wasn't long enough. They offer a 5-foot cable, which in a lot of circumstances would be fine, but it's just that with a tank that's almost 6 feet tall, including the stand, it was really just not viable to get that thing connected to the power socket down below. I, in the end, just ended up using a MacBook charging cable, just a USB-C to USB-C one, and just a standard MacBook charger into the wall, and that provides sufficient power to make sure this product is running. So one's a bit of a design thing, the other one's a bit of a personal thing, but at least you know some of the cons that this product has. Now, the use case for this definitely is very particular. For someone that's got a luxury aquarium that's spending thousands and thousands of dollars on their tank like I am, where I'm trying to get the best filtration, the best glass, the best lighting, the best scape, all of that sort of stuff, why not have the best automatic fish feeder? And the other one that we touched on is for the people that are traveling. If you're spending, extended periods of time, maybe on a regular basis, or you've got a particularly long basis coming up, and you want to make sure that you're not losing all of your fish because that may potentially be more expensive than the feeder itself, it might be worth just to go ahead and get a product that is offering you that reassurance and peace of mind. But at least that shows you some of the most ideal circumstances in which you would use a product like this. So Bodgies and Widgies, if you want to try and get this aquarium feeder for yourself, I'll have it linked in the description down below. But that's it from me and Jericho. Thank you for being so well behaved. You have been amazing in this video and I cannot wait to share you to the rest of the world. But anyways, that's it from Jericho and I. A massive thank you to the Hygger team for sending me out this product, and an even bigger thank you to you for watching this video. So if you want to see more product reviews like this, if you want to see more Jericho and my fish, then make sure you consider subscribing to the channel. But as always, Bodgies and Widgies, stay safe. I've never done this one-handed with a duck before. Stay happy, stay Aussie Australian. Bodgie and Jericho out.